your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for tuning in tonight. So, I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I had a wonderful weekend. And because of this weekend, my topic tonight is going to be about family. Family, you gotta love them. Whether we're talking about parents, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, in laws, um, sometimes they can be great and you can have a wonderful family and everybody gets along in this kind of kumbaya kind of way, or just being honest, they can be a pain in the ass. um, and I just remember growing up, there was that TV series, The Brady Bunch, where there were six kids and everybody got along, and if there was some issue, everybody would get together and help resolve this issue, and they would apologize and be polite and not pick on you and all of this stuff. And I remember, and I think there are a lot of people that watched that show and thought, wow, is that family how families are supposed to be? Because mine is not that way at all. And the reality is that most families, if you talk to someone, see their family as being dysfunctional, some more dysfunctional than others. I have one sister, I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I have one sister that always jokes around and says, our family put the fun in dysfunction. And kind of a true story. Anyway, and really what I want to talk to are more about the families that have issues. And I think in any family, even if you have kind of a Brady Bunch family, there still are issues, and families are hard. Families are so much harder than dealing with any of our other relationships. They know the things to say, the things to do, the little smart ass comments to make that will push your buttons. And we often think that our families are safe, that they're the people that we can just be ourselves around and they're not going to do things that are going to hurt us. But one of the things that happens is that when we're around our families, we tend to put our guard down, we put down our boundaries, and we allow more to happen to us than we would allow happen with a friend. Sometimes our families can be kind of mean and biting. You wait a day or two, where you're not talking to them. And I don't want to say you forgive them, but you get back with them because they're your family. Where if it was a friend of yours that had done the same thing, they would be on the highway going, gone. Um, so I always joke around that working, being with our family is like having a PhD in relationships. Because if you can navigate your family, especially if you have a dysfunctional family, you have earned that piece of paper and you can call yourself a doctor of crazy family relationships. Because you have learned the lesson and you have survived and learned to navigate what can be a whole lot of crazy making in the dynamics between people. But what if you don't have any family or don't have much family? Or what if your family really sucks? What do you do? Well, one of the things you can do is you can create your own family. Um, you know, there's that line, he's a brother from another mother, which I just met a brother from another mother this weekend, which was what made the weekend so great. And we invite these people into our lives by choice, and we decide that we want to hang around with them because they add value to us and they add value to our lives. Um, and like my background is that DNA thing, when it's your family, it's like you're related by blood, but you're not necessarily related by choice. And so if you're with a brother from another mother, it's kind of like, I don't want to say you won't put your guard down, but you treat the relationship differently because that person can walk out of your life. they're not stuck with you like your family, regardless of what you do. Um, and so we tend to nurture those relationships more. We have more respect for them. We are tend to be more willing, hopefully, to work things out in order to have these people in our lives. When I'm talking about these friends, these are the people that have our backs. Through thick and thin, they have our backs, and we know that they're going to be there for us, regardless of where we are, in our personal space. I mean, okay, if we're really shitty to them, I can see why they would take off and just dump our butt, but if we are treating them with respect and with value, those relationships can be stronger and more intense than the relationships we have with our brothers and sisters. And so I would just love for you to, if you have close friends, look at them as family, look at them and nurture those relationships, because they are so hard to come by and so fragile that they can be easy to lose. Okay, so that's all I have about family for today. I am going to open up the chat room to take questions. So I again want to say hello to my Facebook peeps, my YouTube peeps. I am looking at adding another live stream feed to this in the next couple of weeks. Haven't done that yet, so I'm not going to announce it. But my more conspiracy theory alternative people might like that better as a preference choice. I really appreciate everyone that tunes in and all the support that they provide me. If, before I move on, I just want to do my little plugs. If you'd like to schedule a private consultation with me, please go to soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. Don't forget to like me, Dr. Rita Louise, not Rita Louise, but Dr. Rita Louise on Facebook. Or please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. And, sign up for the notifications and subscribe and all that good stuff on YouTube. I know you all know how to do that. Yeah, so I hope we have a lively chat room today without crazy people coming in. And I am going to open things up, and let's just say hello to some people and go on from there. Hey, Carlene. Hey, Miss Cindy. And, oh, nothing. That guy that's there. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Rita. Veronica. Veronica. Okay, so this friend of mine, Veronica, has been trying to show up for like weeks on Monday. It's like, oh my God, I missed it. Oh my God, I missed it. But she's like, but she's here tonight. Sweet. Yay, Veronica. Okay, so let me kind of back up and start hitting some questions. Okay, let's see. This is from Jerry. Family, we need to decide where to go. Both family matters, Texas or Minnesota. Okay, so I'm just going to give you my personal impression of both states. I've been in both. Minnesota, cold, mosquitoes. And for me, that's like the deciding factor. Cold, mosquitoes, with the mosquitoes really being on top. And Texas, that's where I live. So that's a great place to be. But no, actually, let me. Okay, so Jerry, this is kind of weird, but I'm kind of getting Minnesota for you. So I'm going to go with Minnesota, even though they have mosquitoes. Oh, and for anyone that's new here, you can ask any kind of questions you want, except about dead people. I don't do dead people. And if you're going to ask a question, can you like formulate a specific question, versus can you tell me something? Or can you tell me about my future? Because I don't talk about people's future. So let's keep going. Okay, so Rita said, mine, talking about family, hers holds grudges forever. And there's a lot of people that are that way, a lot of families that are that way. And sometimes, you have this mixture of people in the family. Some of them might be pretty narcissistic. I have one girlfriend, and most of her brothers and sisters are pretty narcissistic. They don't speak to each other. she tends to be the healer enabler person. So they all talk to her. But they don't talk to each other because they're like mean and vindictive to each other and hold grudges. Okay, Veronica, gonna get to your question. All right. Can you read my next door neighbor? She got pissy with me a few times and seems to hate dogs. Okay. Well, let's see. So, yes, she hates dogs. I feel like your neighbor really just doesn't want to be bothered. She just wants to be in her own little bubble, and have everything be quiet and calm and serene. And I just feel like you are kind of interfering with her groove or her vibe, because you're a human being and you don't just stay inside all day and hibernate. But she would really appreciate it if you did. I kind of get the impression that the people that lived there before you, Veronica, were very quiet people. And she got used to it. And now that's what she wants to keep happening. But it's not. So she needs to like take a chill pill and get over it. Carlene says, my family can make me crazy at times. Um, they do it, and they don't realize it. That's the thing about family is they don't realize that they're being crazy making or they're being hurtful. So big family, they never, well, every so often someone will pop in and their name shows up and they say hi, but I don't think they listen to the show. And if you're listening, sorry if I'm like talking about you. But I mean, if you know me, if you watch my posts or whatever, or, gone to my webpage, watch any of my videos, I do psychic readings. I do energy work. I work as a medical intuitive, helping people with health related issues, spirit attachment, you name it, just not dead people and not predict the future. That's my thing. And so one of my brothers, who I love to death, I mean, I love him, and we get along because he's my brother. He he's a bit of a Bible thumper. Okay, not a bit. He is a Bible thumper. And he just started to pray over people. And so when my dad was passing away, he asked if I wanted him to pray over me. And I didn't have an issue with it because I know that praying is a form of energy work. And so I let him do it because I trust him. He's my brother, and he doesn't have like bad energy or anything. So he's praying on me and I could feel my energy moving and shifting, because this is what I do for a living. And we went to dinner that night and I made this comment about, wow, we're kind of doing the same kind of work. And he said, no, we're not. It's, like I'm doing God's work and you're doing freaking devil work. And he just really didn't realize how much that comment hurt my feelings because one, we are doing the same things, and to sit there and be judgy to me, like what I'm doing is good, but what you're doing is evil or whatever the hell he thinks. I don't know. I don't care. It's hurtful, and family just, they don't take that extra step a lot of the time to make sure they're not stepping on people's toes, which can make you be crazy. Okay. Okay, so Jerry came back and said Minnesota is where we plan to go first to see our daughter, husband, grandson, but we are worried about Chris's mom's health in Texas, so hopefully she'll get better. Okay, and see, this is a perfect example of why I don't predict the future, because there are so many factors that filter in to what is going on in the future. So, Jerry, your energy is go to Minnesota. That is where your energy is vibrating. But let me factor in Chris's mom to see if that changes the dynamic of this at all. If it would be a wiser choice to go to Texas first. Thank you for letting me use you as an example. Um, Now I'm still getting Minnesota. I mean, I feel like, she'll be okay. I mean, I'm making a bit of an assumption here, Jerry. And so correct me if I'm incorrect in the assumption that I'm adding into what I'm looking at, that you're going on this trip, for a week, maybe 2 weeks to Minnesota, but it's not like you're going to be there for several months. So if there's a several month piece to it, can you please let me know? Because I would like to relook at it to see if there's anything you really need to worry about mom within that window. Okay, great. Thank you. Hey, Teresa. So Teresa is like a sister from another mother. Um, she says, I'm taking my boys back to Cape Cod in July. Will I be relocating to be with them permanently? Ooh, hmm. That's a good question. Okay. So Teresa, this is what I'm feeling. And girl, I'm just going to be totally straight with you. So what I'm feeling is, you could always go to Cape Cod if that's what you wanted to do. My feeling is that if you went to Cape Cod to be there permanently, which I know you want to do, I know you want to be by your babies, but I feel like it would be really hurtful for you. Like it would be detrimental toward your health, if you know what I mean, your emotional health, that it would kind of throw you back into that circle of crap that you have really been working so hard to get yourself out of. My feeling is that, and I don't predict the future, but I'm just kind of like looking at your timeline, is that in like next year and a half, you will be so much stronger and so much more grounded in yourself, that if you moved to Cape Cod and if you had to deal with crap, that you would be able to navigate it and not subject yourself to wounding and subject yourself to being hurt. So let me know what you think about that. But no, great question. Okay, so Veronica said previous neighbor was troublemaker. Well, I just have the impression that your neighbor just doesn't want anybody living there, Veronica. And if nobody could live there, that would make her be happier. And so I just am seeing, the energy I just keep getting from her is you're being too loud, you're being too this and this. And so, sometimes when you look at people's energy, it's like, it becomes very like bipolar. Either the previous owner was very quiet or they were really loud. But in either case, you're disturbing her mojo and disturbing her groove. And it doesn't even have anything to do with you personally. It's just because you're there, period. That's her issue, because you're there. Okay. So Rita wrote, my only living brother is narcissistic and won't speak to me, and I just got tired of his BS. He's hurtful. I love him, but I can't talk to him. And that happens a lot with people and families, many times. Or the story that I hear the most often is that there's someone that's narcissistic in the family. They're very hurtful. They're an alcoholic. They're a drug addict. There's some pretty heavy duty issues going on, and the family just tries to tolerate the behavior and tolerate the behavior, but really what you're doing is enabling that person to be mean and nasty and vindictive. And like I said in my intro, if that person was a friend of yours, you would have kicked them out of your life a long time ago. And so to protect yourself, to take care of yourself, it really does make sense to, I like to say put them in purgatory, like, hey, I'm going to put you over there and I'll just interact with you in a way that I can manage and I can make tolerable and I can go into the situation with my emotional boundaries up, my energy protection up. And I got like sage in my back pocket and I smudged myself before I got in and I'm going to smudge myself before I got out. And I got a pocket full of crystals, and then you could go interact with them, for an hour. And it's like, okay, I'm done and get the hell out of there. But people that are really toxic, instead of just subjecting yourself to their toxicity, you can sit there and set boundaries on how much time, if any, you want to spend with them or not. That is totally your choice. And you shouldn't feel bad about making that decision. All right. Well, I got to the bottom of my thing here. So if anybody else has any questions or follow-ups that they would like to put in. So Sydney, does Stu have a question for me? I'm sure he does. Oh wait, he's not doing nothing outside. I know. I know. So let's see. Okay, so Rita wants to know, will my health improve soon? So Rita, can you like give me a body part, an organ, a health concern? I mean, that's, we have a lot of moving parts. And so this will help me kind of tap in more directly into, what's going on with you. And I will try to be as discreet as possible in responding, but specific. When I just kind of look at you in the general sense, Rita, stomach, great. Um, and this isn't like pointing my finger out at you and going, oh, you silly girl. But so many people just listen to their doctors and don't necessarily take the proactive stance of what can I do. And Rita, when I sit there and I look at you and your health concerns kind of in a, ooh, my hands disappeared, in a generic way, I feel like you're just kind of waiting for something versus doing things to change it or to shift it, whether that's eating different foods, taking digestive enzymes, taking something like slippery elm, taking herbs that help eliminate H. pylori, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. To help move you along in your health issue. Um, so just kind of looking at what's going on. I mean, I feel like your digestive juices are not super high, so perhaps taking a digestive enzyme, a broad-based digestive enzyme would be helpful. I feel like food doesn't move out of your stomach real well, um, and just kind of sits in there and um, gurgles. Gurgles is a good word. Um, okay, and they're throwing this one in, and I'm just going to like say it out loud, but they're also suggesting that you don't drink enough water, and, even because they're suggesting that you're dehydrated, and that's kind of stopping bodily movements, bodily functions from happening. Um, so let me know if that makes sense to you. And of course, you can always follow up. Oops, sorry, I didn't like click on your thing. All right, so Teresa's back, and now this is kind of long, so I got to read it all. We have both are doing the work. We're able to have decent, loving conversations that are based on our love for the boys and their best well-being. The idea of reconciliation has been touched on, and neither of us are interested in that. We both focus on spiritual growth, healing, and what's best for our boys. So, with that info, I went in January, and mother has been calling me back since I left. Also, family uncivilized, not very supported in my healing journey. Um, okay, so I'm not sure if I missed a piece of that. So, Teresa, okay, so the word that comes up for me the most is trust. You know, I am not feeling, and I'm talking to you, sister from another mother kind of conversation here, um, that I'm not trusting it. I'm not trusting where things are, um, on their part. I mean, I know that you're doing your work, you're doing your journey, etc., etc. I kind of just keep getting with, reading through what you're saying is that there's a certain level of BS in it, and that concerns me greatly. Not that they're not doing stuff, but how much truth is there in that? And I guess, me and my concern for you is that you make sure that you are in a place that if you go and you find out it's a bunch of BS, that you can be there on your own and not try to enmesh or commingle energies at all. I hope that makes sense. I'm just thinking about you, girl. Okay, so Veronica says health. I have embedded UTIs, been treating with antibiotics almost 3 years, considering alternative MMS, deworming, metal detox, and yes, building up gut health. Okay, so a UTI is a urinary tract infection, and I don't have the name of that herb. So people that have UTI infections, things that people can take are cranberry juice and buku. I think it's buku root, buku. As a supplement, you can take something called D dimmer, and I would spell it for you, but I have no spelling skills, so never mind. D dimmer. There's also an herb that I don't remember the name of it. And so one of the things that can happen in our gut, and that's why I'm thinking of this herb. And so if somebody is interested in what the name of that herb is, and you are listening to this, no, not herba usi. So Veronica said herb like herba usi. There's a different herb that I had never heard of until a few years ago. So there is something that happens in our body that's called biofilm. And biofilm is like a layer of mucus that sits over the tissue. And one of the things that I noticed in patients that are clients, I don't have patients, I have clients who have chronic urinary tract infections, is that the infection sits in between the tissue and underneath that biofilm. And so you take the antibiotics and it gets rid of all of the active infection, but it doesn't take care of the infection that's underneath the biofilm. And so if you take herbs that help eliminate the biofilm, then you can get rid of all that gunk and schmegma that's sitting on top and actually heal the infection that is sitting in that tissue. I've seen it in bladders a lot. I've also seen the same kind of infection in people that have chronic sinus infection, which you can maybe like picture this more. You have mucus in your sinus, and underneath a layer of impacted mucus in your sinus is where that infection is. And kind of depending on what's going on, the bacteria will start to grow, creating the sinus infection. You take the antibiotics, blah, 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 and it gets rid of all the free floating bacteria, but it doesn't get rid of that little bit. And it doesn't have to be that much, that little bit of bacteria that is sitting underneath the biofilm. And so, ooh, all right, I will address that in 1 second. Yeah, so Veronica, send me a message and I will send you the name of that herb, specifically the one that I really like because I found that it worked really great. And actually, we can get biofilm in our teeth. And so many times when you have yellowing on your teeth, it's because, or like plaque, it's because there's a biofilm that has developed on your teeth and the plaque grows underneath the biofilm. I don't think so, Veronica. All right, hang on. I need to scroll up here a second. All right, let's see. All right, Rita, I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to write this down. I want to finish up with Veronica. See, I wrote your name down. Now I'm going to think I like left myself a note. Uh, okay. Right. Okay. Hey, so Cindy U-turns asked, intuitive queen reader wants to know if you're okay. She felt a strong energy connection and thought you wanted a reading about your spiritual life journey. Inbox her right away. Intuitive Queen Reader, you have totally picked the wrong person to ask to inbox you. Just wanted to say that, but you should go away because I'm just going to like call you out if you keep posting. Anyway, so yeah, Veronica messaged me and I will send you the information. And if there's something that I talk about on here that you need generic information, so like not a reading, but if I talk about an herb or a supplement or something, I'll be happy to send you the information, whether it is whether it is on Facebook or YouTube. Ooh, I see a different face in Cindy's profile picture. No, Cindy, Uber Ursi is more of a diuretic and it calms inflamed tissues, but it doesn't get rid of the biofilm. Like I said, the herb that is really the biofilm herb is not something that I've ever seen before. And so whenever I have a client that has like an issue with biofilm, I'm like, okay, hold on one second. I run in my kitchen and I go get my bottle. Actually, it's not even in a bottle. It's a bag. It's a bag of tea, and you make actually a tea out of it, and not like just take a supplement. You get her, Cindy. So Cindy put, our favorite Cindy put, Queen Reader, let me give you a psychic reading. You're going to give her a psychic reading? I thought you would give her more than that. No, Veronica, just message me and we'll like go on from there. Oh, wait, I got to get back to Rita. Rita! Okay. So Rita says, I started drinking water a couple of weeks ago. You're right about me waiting. Thank you. And Rita, I feel like if you wanted to schedule a 15-minute session, we could really drill down and come up with some kind of like forward moving plan about that. I think 15 minutes would cover it. But I do feel like your body is really dehydrated. And so, drinking water would, at least start some metabolic processes within you. So good. Good. Okay. Okay, bye, Teresa. Okay. All right. So we still have plenty of time. Anybody else have any questions? Because the doctor's in the house. Except for Intuitive Queen Reader, who needs to go away. Thankfully, she only posts once. And I think if there's something okay, so there's two different ways for me to make this piece of commentary when talking about health. So there are some people that kind of like Rita, who's kind of waiting for somebody to tell her what to do, which a lot of people do. But and I'm pointing my finger at you, Rita, but not pointing it at you, if you know what I mean. But there is so much information about things you can use and things you can try to promote health and wellness, that tend to be fairly specific. But then I have a lot of clients that they have an ache or pain, and and then they get online, so you know their hands are cold. It's like, oh my God, do I have diabetes? Are they going to amputate my hand? It's like, well, I have this ache. It's like, do I? She's not here, so I'm going to talk about her. Even though if she was here, she would probably find it funny because she finds the story funny anyway. So a friend of mine slash client came for a session, and she was very concerned because she was having uh, pain, abdominal pain, and she went online and she thought that maybe she had liver cancer. And that was her concern. Maybe I have liver cancer. I went online and blah blah blah, and the pain sounded the same. Blah blah blah. And so she's telling me about what's going on, and she was like, "Yeah, I have this pain, and I have to think about this a second. My right, my left hand side, and she's explaining this stuff to me." And I just started laughing at her, and she's going, "Why are you laughing at me?" And I'm like, "Okay, so I'm just going to tell you, you don't have liver cancer." And she goes, "Well, how do you know I don't have liver cancer?" And I'm like, "Because your liver is on the other side of your body. And so if you were having pain, it would be on the right side of your body where the liver is and not on the left side of your body." And what the issue really was that she had, a little bit of like irritable bowel colitis kind of thing going on. Um, she had been under a lot of stress, and that's how it was manifesting in her body. And I was able to recommend, some antibacterial, antimicrobial, more antibacterial substances to kind of clean out that tissue. And then, like oregano oil, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. And then the herb slippery elm, which is very soothing and very coating to the tissues, um, to kind of like give it an opportunity, put a little like internal band-aid on it to help it heal. And um, so that's what she did, and she felt much better. So let's see. Do I want to post this? I am not going to post that, Cindy, but thank you very much. Please do. Okay. Anybody else? Wow. I wonder if this is just going to be a short night. I'm okay with a short night. If my family came on here, I mean, other than the ones that think I'm going to burn in hell, um, although I had one sister, okay, so there's one brother who thinks I'm going to burn in hell. A couple of them don't really care at all what I do. And so, well, and then one sister who used to think I was going to burn in hell, but she's kind of changed her attitude about things. And so, a different sister, because again, there's a lot of us, um, she just looked at me. She goes, "You're not going to burn in hell. You're just going to be lightly toasted." So I own that lightly toasted because it's like, I know, like I have this sign that that sits right, literally right over my desk, right there, and it says, "I may be going to hell, but at least all my friends will be there." True. Okay. Well, it seems like the questions have ended. I'm not seeing any new people in here. So we're going to do like a going once, going twice, going three times if you have any questions, or I am going to wrap this up for the evening. Oh, Veronica's here. My brother thought I was going to hell for doing psychic stuff. Yeah, I don't really understand that whole thing. Um, you know, sure, Rona. I mean, I don't know if that was a question or if you have another question, so just go ahead and post. Um, I don't understand, doing psychic work, tapping into God's manifestation through us, is not like we're, it's God's manifestation through us. It's not devil work, there's not anything evil implied with it or to it. It just is. Okay. Um, They just don't understand. They just don't understand the nature of doing psychic work, doing intuitive work, doing energy work, doing Tai Chi, doing Qigong. It's like, oh, it's from the East. It must be evil. Um, and I think it's just a lack of education on their part why they think that. Lack of education on some things and way too much dogma on the other things. So that's my personal opinion. Okay. All right. So here's like my brother from another mother got a question. How long does bad chorizo last in my tummy? So, well, did you take any of them Tums that are in the house that I know that are in the house? Um, oh, God. Okay. So, when you like wanted to throw up earlier in the day, you should have just thrown up and this whole thing would have been said and done. But now it's just kind of like sitting in your gut, um, and not really digesting. Um, I mean, at this point in time, it's like moving its way out. Um, but it just seems kind of acidic in there right at the moment. But at this point in time, I'm not feeling, with what I know that you have, I'm not feeling like there's much that you can do other than ride it out. Um, especially if, the Tums or whatever aren't working. Should have just thrown it up. It would have just made the whole thing go away. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway, okay. Veronica. Okay, wait, Ron, I'm going to come back to you. So Stuart's response is Tums make me fart. Okay, but let's see. Let's see. These are my choices. I can fart or I can have a really upset stomach. Fart, stomach, fart, stomach, fart, stomach. A lot of times the farting is because you have a lot of excess gas in the stomach and it's allowing that excess gas to leave, which is a lot of the times why you feel like crap. So if you haven't taken the freaking Tums, take the Tums and get Gabby to pull your finger. I love you. Okay, so Veronica is saying, why is my nephew so skittish around me? Did my brother turn him against me? Uh, I mean, I don't get the impression that your brother turned him against you. I get the impression that he doesn't really know you. And this is going to sound kind of weird, but I feel like you approach him in a very, um, what's the word I want to use? Familiar way. Like him, but I feel like he just doesn't feel comfortable with you. And I feel like there really hasn't been much time where it's just been you and him. Um, I don't feel like it's just you that he's skittish with. Um, I'm also going to make the assumption that, that your brother, um, Veronica, you're just really your own kind of person, and your brother is pretty stuffy, and you just kind of like hang out and do your thing and are authentic. And I feel like that makes your brother uncomfortable, which in turn makes your nephew uncomfortable because he's not used to that energy. He's used to more, I have barriers up and you can't see who I am because I have to live in this predefined version of reality. Um, Give him time. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but give him time because he will turn around, and I feel like you will be, you guys will be fine. Okay, new comments. Ooh, Veronica Smith. I will be making cleansing and clearing of negative energies to those who need to get their their energy high signify. Oh, their energy high signify with yes. Hi, Aoife. You need to go. And then she's back again. Veronica Smith. I will be making cleansing and clearing of negative energy to those who need to get their energy high. Signify with a yes. Ifa, why don't you just do like a healing on me and like report what all you're getting, in your healing thing, lay it on us. Don't make us like have to go to you. Just like lay it on us in here so we can all, get on your case. Okay. So cool. Bingo. Uh-oh. Big mistake, Ifa. Cindy, you turn sash. I will be making cleansing and clearing of negative energy to those who need to get their energy high. Signify with a yes. Well, let's see. So Ifa, here's Cindy signifying with a yes, and I hope Facebook don't like get pissed off at this, but like, yes, Ifa. Anyway. So kind of going to our original topic of today, talking about family. I was born into the wrong family. Yeah, I think a lot of us were born into the wrong family. So Ifa, you need to freaking go. Oh, too funny. And he shall develop a rash. Yeah. Anyway, all right, so we're starting to get hit with the spammer people, and people don't really have questions. So I'm going to wrap this up. Again, if you would like to schedule a private conversation or consultation, like Ifa and Intuitive, whatever her name was from before, you can schedule a private consultation by going to soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com, and you can contact me directly so that you can get your energy high, and you can just like send me a message and signify with a yes. Don't forget to like me, Dr. Rita Louise, on Facebook. So the Dr. Rita Louise page has my face on it and not the poodle with the tinfoil hat. And you only need to like that page and you will get notified of any broadcasts or anything juicy that I have going on. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel that is Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification, all that YouTube-y stuff that you're supposed to do. But I will be back here next week. Please come. Please bring your friends if you think they would enjoy this hour together. As you can see, it's pretty open and free-flowing. And you don't have to be my Facebook friend. You don't have to like my page, which is how these like spammer people manage to get in here. And so again, join me next week for our next edition of Monday Night Live with Dr. Rita Louise. And until then, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. Be blessed.